Sound the alarm, Eagles Nation. This is not a drill. A storm is brewing in Philadelphia, and the winds of change are howling through the halls of the NovaCare complex. Whispers have turned into roars, and behind those locked doors, the future of the Eagles is being written in fire and steel. With their sights locked on a Super Bowl return, the pressure is mounting, and head coach Nick Sirianni stands at the center of it all, tasked with assembling a roster worthy of a championship legacy. I've got the inside scoop, the pulse of the team, and trust me, you won't want to miss a second of what's coming. But before we soar into this high-stakes saga, smash that like button like you're sacking a rival QB. And if your veins run green and white, if you've been flying with this team through thick and thin for over 2 decades, drop a comment below. Go Eagles, let's ride. Let's get into the heart of the matter. Over the weekend, news broke that shocked not just Saints fans but had ripple effects across the league. Derek Carr has officially retired from the NFL. This isn't just any ordinary retirement. Carr, who was fighting through a surprise shoulder injury that included both a labral tear and significant rotator cuff degeneration, decided to hang up his cleats after more than a decade in the league. And yes, while the timing caught many off guard, it sets the stage for something very interesting involving the Philadelphia Eagles. With Carr stepping away, the New Orleans Saints now find themselves in a quarterback crisis. They've got a 3-man QB competition on their hands under new offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, who, Eagles fans will remember, had a stint with us. The Saints' depth chart features rookie Tyler Shaw out of Louisville, Jake Haener from Fresno State, and Spencer Rattler, who's trying to rebuild his reputation after flaming out at Oklahoma and finding moderate success at South Carolina. But let's be honest, none of those names scream franchise quarterback just yet. So now, the whispers are turning into real chatter. Could the Eagles trade backup quarterback Tanner McKee to the Saints? This move would reunite him with Kellen Moore, under whom he played quite well last season. With Carr gone, the Saints are desperate for stability under center, and McKee, still on his rookie deal for 2 more years, might be just what New Orleans needs. Let's be clear, this wouldn't just be a depth trade. This could be a starting job up for grabs. Let's break it down. McKee came out of Stanford with elite size, standing 6 feet 6 inches and weighing 231 pounds. He's a pocket passer with sharp decision-making, good anticipation, and a beautiful touch on back shoulder throws. No, he's not going to break off 20-yard scrambles or spin out of tackles like Jalen Hurts, but that's not his game. He stands tall, sees the field, and delivers with precision. Just look at what he did late last season. In the second-to-last game against Dallas, he came in relief and went 3 of 4 with 2 of those completions going for touchdowns. That's right, 2 touchdowns on 3 completions for 54 yards and a perfect passer rating of 156.2. But that wasn't just a flash. In the regular season finale against the New York Giants, where Philly had already locked up the NFC East and rested their starters, McKee stepped in as the starter. The Giants played their first-team defense, but McKee carved them up anyway. 27 of 41, 269 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a 100.0 passer rating. That's not just competent, that's starter-level stuff. So now you've got a situation brewing. The Saints are sitting with a QB room that looks shaky at best. Tyler Shaw might have the tools, but he's an older rookie, turning 26 soon. Jake Haener has barely shown flashes that suggest he's anything beyond a QB3. And Spencer Rattler, while talented, is still trying to shake the inconsistency that's plagued him since his Oklahoma days. Insert McKee into that mix, and suddenly New Orleans has a real quarterback competition. One where Tanner McKee could very realistically walk in and win the starting job. The connection between McKee and Kellen Moore adds another layer here. Moore knows how to design an offense that plays to a quarterback's strengths, and he saw firsthand what McKee was capable of. With that familiarity and McKee's contract being so team-friendly, it makes too much sense for New Orleans not to at least make the call. But let's shift the lens back to the Eagles for a moment. What would Howie Roseman do? We all know Howie doesn't make moves unless he sees value. And let's face it, backup quarterbacks are a premium commodity. If Philly decides to move McKee, it's not going to be cheap. Realistically, we're talking about a 2nd or 3rd round pick in return. And let's not forget, the Saints have both of those picks in the 2026 draft. Would that be enough to entice the Eagles to let go of a quarterback who may be blossoming into a legitimate NFL starter? There's also the question of depth. If McKee is dealt, Philly would roll into the season with Jalen Hurts locked in as QB1, no questions there, but Dorian Thompson-Robinson and rookie Kyle McCord would battle it out for the backup role. The Eagles were high on DTR during the draft process and even brought him in for a top 30 visit. And while he didn't light things up in Cleveland, he's shown enough promise that the Eagles believe they can mold him. Kyle McCord, one of the more intriguing quarterback prospects in this past draft. Raw? Maybe. But the tools are there. Still, it's not easy to part ways with a quarterback like McKee, especially after seeing him deliver in key moments. He's got poise, size, arm talent, and he's only going to get better with more reps. If you let him walk now, you risk losing him for nothing when his rookie deal ends. But if you move him, you could snag a premium draft pick and continue building long-term. So I want to ask you, the loyal Eagles fan watching right now, what would you do if you were in Howie Roseman's shoes? Would you trade Tanner McKee to the Saints and cash in on his rising value? Or would you keep him in midnight green and let him continue developing behind Jalen Hurts? Let me know what you think down in the comments section. Because here's the thing, Eagles fans, this isn't just a casual offseason storyline. This is a real moment of decision that could have ripple effects on the franchise. And if history has taught us anything, it's that Howie Roseman isn't afraid to make bold moves when the value is right. But the key here is whether this is the right move. Let's revisit what we know about the current QB depth. Jalen Hurts is entrenched as the face of the franchise. There is no controversy there. He's a top-tier quarterback, a leader, and he represents everything this team wants to be. But the Eagles aren't just trying to win now. They're building for sustainability. That's where the QB2 and QB3 slots become absolutely crucial. If something were to happen to Hurts, knock on wood, you need someone behind him who can step in and keep the offense moving. And that's what makes the idea of trading McKee so tough to swallow. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, as we mentioned, didn't exactly thrive in Cleveland. His stint there was filled with inconsistency, and while that Browns offense had its own dysfunction, the fact is he looked overwhelmed at times. Still, there's upside. The Eagles liked him enough to bring him in pre-draft, and he fits the mold of a developmental dual-threat quarterback that Sirianni's staff could work with. But can you trust him in a playoff push? Then there's Kyle McCord. Now this kid's ceiling? It's intriguing. He's got a strong arm, good mechanics, and he played in big games at Ohio State. But he's a rookie. Throwing a rookie into the fire behind Hurts if something goes wrong, that's a major gamble. Which means, if you deal McKee, you're rolling the dice that one of these two guys can step up in a high-pressure situation. And for a team with Super Bowl aspirations, that's a dangerous risk. But let's look at this from another angle. The Saints. They're looking at a quarterback room that lacks stability, proven performance, and leadership. Their offensive line is aging, their skill positions are inconsistent, and with Carr gone, they don't have a clear direction at the most important position on the field. Kellen Moore has to make this offense work, and he's likely banging the table right now for someone he trusts, someone he's already coached. That's where Tanner McKee fits in like a glove. And don't underestimate that connection. McKee wasn't just a warm body on the sideline last season. He was absorbing, developing, and when he got his chance, he executed. Kellen Moore saw it up close. That performance in the Giants game, that wasn't just clean, it was confident. That game against Dallas, instant impact. We're talking about a quarterback who came in cold and delivered 2 touchdowns on limited attempts. That's not fluky. That's preparation and poise. It's also worth remembering how rare it is to find young quarterbacks with real, tangible production in regular season NFL games. Most backup QBs never even see the field. McKee not only saw it, he commanded it. He led a full offensive unit.